Hey friends, Moon's Haunted.
What did you say?
So let's go ahead and talk about today's video sponsor, which is Display. Guess what? They just got the official licensing for CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 2077, and if you use the code CYBER30, you can save 30% off site-wide. I would highly recommend that you pick up maybe one of these amazing metal prints from Cyberpunk, but you could also pick up some animal stuff, nature stuff, Goku, anything you want, but use code CYBER30, save 30% off. Use the link in the video description and go buy it. Check it out. Well, that was a fast sponsor spot. You guys are welcome. I'm done with that now. But you know who's not done with things? Apparently, AMD. They're not done on the high-end stuff. You know, Radeon 7 has been highly, let's say, not competitive in the high-end market. I mean, Nvidia has launched 3 cards that are technically faster than this thing, and this thing costs a lot of money. But apparently, at least according to a few sources, hopefully I don't knock anything down, that we might be getting a Navi 21 and Navi 23 GPUs, which could come in finally and be the Nvidia killer that we've all waited for. You remember the last attempts? We had Radeon 7, you had Fury X, and they all just kind of fell flat in the current market. But AMD now has a new architecture known as RDNA, and that's what Navi 23 should be built off of and would allow them to actually take the throne. I mean, especially if you look at the RX 5700 XT, $400, beats the equivalent Nvidia at $400, which is the 2060 Super, can come really close to a 2070 Super with overclocking. It's not impossible to believe that AMD actually might have something good on their hands here with Navi. However, there is the big caveat here that this is still an unconfirmed rumor. AMD has said that they are indeed on schedule for their high-end Navi cards, so the 5700 XT is not the highest-end Navi we can get, confirmed by AMD themselves, but Red Gaming Tech sources kind of indicates that we still need to wait for other sources to come out to verify this authenticity, because there have been rumors that have come out in the past from plenty of people that have not come true, no matter how much we want to hype it up. So AMD's Nvidia killers makes me really happy, but also just needs to temper my expectations. Honestly, we need Nvidia to stop releasing 1080 Ti's, okay? We got 3 in a row. It needs to end, okay? No more 1080 Ti's. Let's just get some good, healthy competition in the high end, and everything will be liker.
What you doing, son? Nothing. Just chilling. Killing.
Okay, so now let's move on to actual Navi GPUs, which AMD released a community post yesterday discussing some of the intricacies of Navi and talking about how they are really working to make sure that you get all of the performance that you can out of your RX 5700 series GPUs, including allowing the GPU to hit 110 degrees Celsius on hotspots across the GPU die, and that's totally fine. This is fine. It's within spec. It might be on fire, but this is fine. As long as the card works fine, it's within, I mean, the thermal failure rate, 110 degrees Celsius, while hot, as long as the card can handle it, sure. It just doesn't do a whole lot for the understanding that AMD is hot and loud, but you know. And there's also been a patent regarding some stuff that AMD might be getting ready for next-gen GPUs, including GPU memory instruction shielding to make sure that there's no speculative execution going on that could potentially compromise next-generation GPUs through the memory. So there's been a patent that's been dug up to show that AMD is really working to maintain the integrity as far as the security side of their GPUs, even if Intel can't, keep all of their CPUs from melting down or spectering. And let's talk about AMD CPUs just quickly. AMD has talked about how they're basically done with Zen 3 processors. They've got it all kind of sorted away. Everything's done there, and now they're working on taping out Zen 4. So that's cool. Zen 3 should be coming out next year. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting Zen 2 Plus, but it will be likely the last CPU on the AM4 socket, because I would suspect Zen 4 is going to be compatible with DDR5 and require a whole new motherboard set up, and could be even on PCI Express 5.0, because that specification is already done and they're working on 6.0 at this point. So it's good news. AMD is still on track. They're not falling behind, unlike a certain blue team competitor who is just like, we can't make new CPUs. Let's make a Project Z graphics card, and that will compete on somehow. But speaking of competition, black holes. The biggest black hole. Jason made the joke that it's at your mama's house. I'm not making that joke. That's what Jason said when he heard this story. Anyways, the largest black hole to ever be observed is positively massive, coming in at 790 astronomical units, which in case you don't know, an astronomical unit is the distance between the sun and the earth. So 790 of those. It's huge. This is a giant black hole. It's not the largest black hole that we know of because there's another one that is inside a quasar, but it hasn't been observed. We just can kind of halfway detect it. So your mama's house, sucking in the black hole stuff. That's Jason's joke. I'm gonna end that there. Speaking of Jason's joke, nope. Okay, Minecraft. Let's talk about it because Mojang apparently is pulling the plug on the super duper graphics pack, which is supposed to bring some graphical fidelity increases to Minecraft. Obviously, it's not something that was impossible to do with Minecraft previously. In case you didn't see it, on UFD Tech, we released a video about ray tracing in Minecraft. You can check it out right up there. And that's exciting, but apparently the graphics demand was too much and they want Minecraft to run on a potato, so getting it to look better is not going to coincide with their vision of making sure that it's accessible to everyone. So too technically demanding, they're doing away with the super duper graphics pack. And you know who else is doing away with stuff? Hackers. They're doing away with their cameras. Yes, my friends, apparently there is some firmware on certain Canon cameras that could potentially make it susceptible to ransomware via your camera's Wi-Fi. This is apparently done because they were able to reverse engineer Magic Lantern, which is a popular firmware exploit used on Canon cameras to get like unlocked stuff such as 60 FPS recording when it was like 50 FPS only, like it did stuff like that. So Magic Lantern does cool stuff, but also makes it so that you have to pay Bitcoin in order to use your camera anymore. Speaking of hackers, not really. This isn't so much hacking as it is just nefarious practices. Anyways, apparently Google Chrome's Incognito mode was having some issues where websites were using a loophole to make sure that they could, personally identify you. So in case you were visiting websites that you didn't want anybody to know you were visiting, well, they could track you anyways. Well, Google Chrome came out with a new way to resolve it in Chrome 76. However, there's just apparently another loophole. So all of the websites that were doing it are still doing it. Not all, but like the exploit is still there to happen. It's just not the same one. So use Tor. And even that, I mean, like the Navy's spying on you, so what are you gonna do? And then fun fact, do you like video games? Well, Amazon's actually holding a pretty decent sale right now where you can do buy one, get one 50% off. So in case you missed the latest round of JRPGs, you can pick up Kingdom Hearts 3 as well as Final Fantasy 15, pay full price for one, 50% off the other. There was a report that Final Fantasy 7 Remake was on this list, but it's not there anymore. Check it out. Use our Amazon affiliate link in the video description when you're going there, and you can enjoy that. Speaking of games, EA is apparently set to announce the new Need for Speed this week, which I'm looking for Underground 2, please. Please, give me Underground 2 soundtrack, Underground 2 remastered. That's really what I want. And then speaking of potato graphics related to Minecraft earlier, anyways, Digital Foundry actually just came out with a video where they analyzed the frame rate of the Switch when it's overclocked, and they do a pretty in-depth analysis. You can check that video out right up there. This is a much deeper dive than what we did on the UFD Tech channel, where we just kind of casually showed off the Switch overclocking and showed how it was possible. They're actually showing like all of the details that you actually need for knowing whether or not it's safe. But you know who's not safe? Apparently, it's the 16-year-old winner of the Fortnite World Cup, World Championship thing. Anyways, he won $3 million, but apparently that does not prevent you from being swatted while you're streaming. And in case you don't know what swatting is, it's the stupid practice of when streamers are live streaming, somebody calls the cops to get a SWAT team to come out of their house, saying something like a hostage situation is going on, something really bad, to get a team to come and break down the door and kind of try to take over the people's lives. It's horrendous. It's a really bad practice, and fortunately, one of the only reasons it wasn't so bad for the 16-year-old winner of Fortnite was that apparently one of the officers who was involved in the raid actually lived down the street and was like, yo, something's going on here. I doubt anything's really happening. Before we get into it, trigger warning, I guess. If you're sensitive to graphic stuff, don't like, if you get queasy at looking at nasty situations, just skip to the end. And then in the last news article of today, the one that I saw and I knew that it hurt me so much that I had to share the pain with you guys. It's an article from Gizmodo. A man's dentures got stuck in his throat during surgery, leaving him bleeding for weeks. I'm so sorry. X-ray images of the dentures in the man's throat. This hurts me so much. I don't know what it feels like to have dentures in your throat, but I don't want to be this man. I'm so sorry this happened to you. And I'm so sorry that I'm gonna end this episode of Hot News. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about Displates. They have Cyberpunk stuff. Now you can get your samurai poster. They plant 10 trees for every Displate you buy. And if you use the code CYBER30, you get 30% off. Use our link in the video description. Get amazing, dope metal prints that mount with magnets. It's so gosh dang easy. Just buy them. Just buy them. They're gorgeous. I love them so much. They decorate everything I have. Anyways, why don't you guys smash the like button if you enjoyed this episode of Hot News. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our news-related content. I'm Brett with the Hot News channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. A lot of you have been wondering whether or not, or why we've been releasing Hot News on the UFD Tech channel. Reasons. Mommy and Daddy still love each other. There's still gonna be some Hot News on Hot News. There's gonna be Hot News on UFD Tech. We're figuring things out right now. We're just trying to make the best of the situation that we have, and we want to build Hot News as its own thing, but it's clear that we have to restructure a few things internally to make that happen. So for now, you're gonna have split episodes. There's our video out on UFD Tech today. That's why Hot News is here. But when there's no UFD Tech video, Hot News will go over there. So that's the way it's gonna work for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to this little addendum at the outro. Bye-bye. Also, we're on Floatplane. Check us out.